Money for Kevin. No money for Matt. Welcome to another episode of Fade the Deuce on this wonderful Tuesday evening. While nothing else is going on in the country right now, we know you are locked in. What really matters right now. And that is this weekend's college football picks. And we're glad you're here. If you're watching on X, we would appreciate a retweet. If you're watching on YouTube, a like, a comment. And if you're watching on Facebook, you can share that too. Whatever you want to do, comment. We appreciate it. So welcome back, Kevin. Sounds like you had a good week.
5-1, my friend. 5-1. Had a great week. Lock hit. The only one I missed is I underestimate Alshon Gianti from Boise State. My goodness, that dude is something else. He's the best player in college football, dude. If you got a chance to watch
between him and Travis Hunter, him and Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter's really Travis Hunter actually. Yeah, but like
I was about to say now.
Gianti doesn't get any love though because I don't know why, but and Hunter gets plenty of it as he deserves. But that kid's something impressive, man. He's something else, man.
My top three Heisman, we got Hunter, Gianti, and Cam Ward.
Milroe.
Yeah, Milroe after last week. You're probably right. He probably
play that game for Miami. He did 3 picks or something like that.
Yeah, you're right. He leapfrogged Cam Ward.
So, Matt, a somber 2-4.
2-4, and I have issues with my lock. So people, please fade me.
Fade the lock. Change the name of the show to Fade the Lock.
Fade the lock. I am 1-5 on my lock for the season. So if you look at my overall record, I'm 16-19. You take out those locks, I'd be above 500. But that's not how the game is played.
Matt, you're a smart man. If me and you put our brain together, should we tell the viewers to whatever you pick to go to the table against that?
Yeah, I would until further notice because it's just it is.
Matt.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, Kevin, this week it sounds like from what I'm not going to spoil it, but this week's log might be a good one for you guys to go against Matt again. It sounds like Kevin was kind of questioning it before the show. So we'll see. We'll see.
It's got a little bit of that Penn State Illinois line, which obviously didn't work for the Sharps. It's got a little bit of that line where I think the average bettor goes, "Whoa!" I think Matt might be onto something there.
Before we delve, and look, man, you're a pro. Okay, you know way more about it than I do. I'm learning. I missed my lock last week, so I'm 3-2. I need to put my record down here just for fun. But Michigan up 24-3 decides to just be like, hey man, let's forget to tackle. Let's forget about special teams. You know, let's do a bunch of undisciplined personal fouls and allow Minnesota to get 3 touchdowns in the quarter. So
that's 2 consecutive games where Michigan's allowed a big fourth quarter to their opponent.
Exactly.
I think there might be something to that with a team that can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
I think that might be a trend that you need to look out for. Michigan's allowed 105 points through 5 games this year. They allowed 156 and 15 last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got that as one of my notes on the game. That's
2 straight weeks they've given up 24, right?
They've given up 24, 31, 10, and 12. They had multiple. That was really weird for that. That's just not something they did a year ago. The defense is not quite the same. I actually it'll be an article that'll be up on
Yep,
200
columns probably tomorrow. Yeah,
tomorrow. I go into it just briefly a little bit about what that Michigan game looks like. It's not solely about that Michigan game, but it's got some more to it. Hey man, I was sweating my overlock of Indiana Maryland. That was over 53 and a half, and there was 21 at half. But those teams combined for what was it, 49 points in the second half, so that covered it pretty easy.
Well, let's jump into it this week. We got a fun SEC matchup. Well, not really fun, but it's a ranked matchup. I haven't really enjoyed watching A&M this year. And it's Mizzou. So I was hoping Vandy was going to clip them a couple weeks ago. It was close.
It was double overtime.
He's coming off this bye week.
Yep. So we got Mizzou, a 2-point favorite in College Station. Missouri.
Underdog.
Oh, they're a 2-point underdog. Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, A&M's given the 2.
Anyway, I guess I just expected the other way around. My bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think I do know why. I mean, Missouri has not really been impressive this year. A couple of their games have been underwhelming, but A&M really hasn't done anything this year to wow me. Besides, losing at home thoroughly to Notre Dame. Bowling Green, don't get me wrong, isn't a bad team, but Bowling Green lost to Old Dominion last week at home and went in there and basically gave them a game and had a chance to win it. The last, I think it was 26-20. So they had a chance to either tie it or kick the touchdown, kick the extra point to win, but that didn't happen. So A&M, not super impressive, 2-point favorite at home. We'll start with you, Kevin, on this one. This is a tricky one, man. So I don't really have much more to say. I'll start with you, Kev.
It is a tricky one because I think you have two teams that are pretty talented. I think you've got two teams that have a ton of 4-star above talent. Yeah. You've got a Missouri team that had coming off a really good season a year ago. Dinkowitz was the talk of the town, and they just haven't really played very well. I mean, they struggled it out with Boston College at home. We talked about the Vanderbilt game. They've yet to really assert their dominance in any game of meaning. And the same with Texas A&M. Texas A&M isn't that they're certainly not looking like anything here. I don't have a read on the number of this game, so I'm going to go a little bit different direction. Second time I've done this with Missouri this year. I'm going to go for a half unit. Both these defenses are better than teams think, and both the offenses I think are a little bit less than they think. I'm going to take the under 48.5 in this one and bank on some two pretty good defenses here and offenses that have yet to find their rhythm.
Yeah. I really like the under pick. You look at the scores on some of these games between A&M. I think A&M does have the better defense here, just overall statistic-wise within the country. But I also think the Mizzou Tigers have the better quarterback. You got Marcel Reed, who was coming in as the second string into the first game of the season, and Connor Wegman just couldn't get it done. He had got hurt a little bit, and they had to go with Reed, and then Reed's kind of stuck. But A&M's 116th in passing in the entire nation, and really have to rely on the running game, and it just hasn't looked great. I'm going to take the better quarterback in this matchup with Brady Cook. I'm going to take probably the best athlete on the field. Now, to Kev's point, there are a lot of athletes on both sides of the ball, but Luther Burden on the outside, probably the best athlete, pure athlete on the field at the time. So I'm going to take Mizzou here. I don't love it. I'm not going to bet this game with my own good hard-earned money, but I'm going to take Mizzou +2. They are coming off a bye week. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game and kind of get rested up and healthy. So I think they're going to be raring to go. Again, both of these have underperformed, to Kev's point. Mizzou +2 on the road. Tough place to play, but
yeah. Kyle Field, 12th man, very tough place to play. I honestly thought this was going to be the game day game, and we'll get into that a little bit later. It wasn't. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff. I think that bodes well for the Mizzou pick.
Mizzou, yep.
Yeah. I do think a little bit later in the day, being game day, which probably A&M's a little frustrated they didn't get, they might not be as raucous and rowdy at 11 a.m. So who knows?
Yep, agreed.
Well, the 12th man still needs to wake up at 11. So
You got to go there and stand next to a pretty girl, and you can kiss her when they score a touchdown.
That's right.
Le'Veon Moss, running back, A&M, another guy to look out for. Guy's averaging almost 7 yards a carry this year. Real solid player.
So A&M wanted game day, but who got game day? Well, it went all the way out to Cal in Miami in an ACC clash. You know the special ACC conference. These guys are bitter rivals.
Yeah.
In the ACC.
How much did they have to pay them to get game day out there? My Lord.
Yeah, I mean, what is out there in Berkeley besides libraries and trees?
Weed, man. Weed and patchouli. Weed and patchouli, man. Lee Corso's going to be sucking in the patchouli and the weed and the Birkenstocks. He's going to be all over this thing, baby. Let me tell you.
Now, so to the line.
What does Nick Saban's face do the second he walks into Cal Berkeley? You know that just fits him to a T, doesn't it?
Stink face.
Oh man, I know.
I'm waiting to see Pat McAfee hang out with the naked man. That's what I want to see.
There we go.
I'm ready for the Golden Bears.
Hey, all right, I'll let Matt go.
All right, Matt. So Miami coming off here's the thing. Do I think that was the call was probably shouldn't have been the catch shouldn't have been called a catch in the Virginia Tech Hail Mary, but if we're sticking by the rules that the officials are told to go by, I don't see how you could reverse the call because it was that crappy of an angle. There was nothing really showing that the Virginia Tech player didn't have possession of it. There was no clear evidence of that. I think when you were watching it, when it first happened, you're like, there's no way he's going to call that a touchdown. Well, then he did, and then you're kind of stuck with it. And so you're coming off that high of maybe feeling like you stole one. Plus, they didn't really play. That was definitely their worst game of the year, especially defensively. Nothing against Virginia Tech, but I mean, Virginia Tech this year really hadn't been very good. They'd been kind of average at best. So is that Miami team going to come into Berkeley hungry? And this Cal team goes to Tallahassee and lets Florida State get their only win of the year, and then what does Florida State do? Go get smoked.
Shameful.
By SMU,
SMU smoked them.
SMU
on the hilltop.
They didn't look like they didn't even belong on the field with them.
No.
And so Cal's coming off of a loss to Florida State where, they're probably angry that it played out that way. So is 10 too much in Berkeley?
I say no. I say because Miami can just put up points at ease. I mean, they're beating teams by 5 touchdowns, 34.4 points per game. They got one of the best offenses in the country. They're 4th in the nation in points per play, and they're 13th in success rate. I just don't see a way Cal can keep this close and scoring and trying to outscore Miami because Miami is going to score. As we mentioned at the top of the show, we got Cam Ward. I know he had a little bit of a rough week last week, but up until that point, I mean, he had that offense like a well-oiled machine. I think last week was a little bit of a wake-up, like a little second lease on life. Like we better get our S together because, we can lose at any point. I just don't see Cal, their running backs been injured kind of with an ankle back and forth. They're only averaging 3.6 yards per rush. They're going to have to go to the air to score some points. I don't think they can keep this within 10. Give me the Hurricanes with a renewed sense of life, minus 10 out in Berkeley.
You going to give them a not so fast, Kev?
I am. What is this game? It's game day.
Come on.
It's a trap.
Home dog, prime time?
Home dog in prime time that kicks off at 10:30 Eastern time.
We got one.
10:30 Eastern time. Dude, Kirk Herbstreit's not going to make this game. He's going to fall asleep. He's going to get on the ground and lay down with his dog.
Yeah.
Dude, it's 10:30 at night's the kickoff time for Miami. Are you kidding me? You get 10 points. This is the first time they've ever hosted game day. So now there's 5 Power 4 schools that have never hosted game day. Our beloved Illini, Rutgers, Maryland, Virginia, and Syracuse. A lot of ACC teams now. Some are in the Big Ten. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Here's the thing. Cal's got a pretty good defense. Now, I don't know that here's the other thing. Matt, you are so correct on Miami and their points per play. But I'm sorry. That's against Ball State, Florida A&M. Yeah, they put it on South Florida, but that was a late run. They almost lost to a Virginia Tech team who lost to Vanderbilt. Like, I can't lay 10 points. I can give me those 10 points for a home underdog in prime time, first time ever hosting game day. And this is a lot different than BYU at home at night, where those kids are all here's the thing, I don't know. Those kids on BYU, they're all jacked up on Dr. Pepper. Those kids at Berkeley are going to be jacked up on, hopefully it's sativa. Hopefully they roll with the sativa, not the indica couch. They're gonna need a little bit more liveliness there in Cal Berkeley. They got a decent team. Yes, they lost to Florida State. They went all the way across the country. There's another bet I like. It's not going to be my lock, but I'm teasing it. Watch out for some of these things. Matt knows it as well as I do. You can see it a lot of times in the NCAA tournament when a team has to go from the West Coast and plays an 11 a.m. Eastern game or 11 a.m. Central game. It messes with teams.
Barry, we see you, brother. What's up?
I'd much rather like Miami playing it at 10:30 at night than this other one that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But dude, I just cannot. I gotta take my 10 points here. Give me Cal plus the 10 full unit. I'm a half unit on the last one.
Think about this. Isn't that
I'm a full unit on this one too? The other way.
Is that the game that is Herb Street calling that game or a different game?
I would imagine Herb. I don't know.
Herb Street, they don't always call the game that they do game day.
That's
but
true.
Think about this schedule if it's true. Those guys have to get up game days at like 8 a.m., right?
8 a.m. our time.
So it's 6
a.m. It'd be 6 a.m. Cal time.
Which means you got to get up earlier than that, obviously.
Wake and bake in Cal Berkeley, baby. Let's roll.
And then you got to stay up all night to do the game.
You got to do the left-hand side. Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't envy those guys if they're calling that game where they're at 9 o'clock that time when you've been up since 4:30.
17-year-old me would have been hitchhiking out to Cal to party with them folks for this.
Oh, man. By the way, Barry, we got 18 days till we get to meet you, man. Looking forward to it.
The tailgate has come together, folks. It's going to be a real nice spread.
That's right.
Nice.
And guess what? We're going to have a Matt McCumber 6-foot poster of you there.
I would love it. Please.
You're all
take your pictures with me.
All dark and handsome with a perfect hard part.
We just need to get all of Tuscola's finest. So
look at that.
Woo!
See if I can get Logan tabling there.
There we go.
Maybe find a way to get Fred Wakefield there. Can we get Jalen Quinn? Can he make an appearance? We just need some Tuscola's finest to represent that Matt's not in attendance.
Tuscola has a big tailgate every week. We got plenty of opportunity to get some people over there.
Okay.
I'll holler at Big Tabes and see what's
There you go.
Yeah, maybe we can get old Freddie Wakefield. Doesn't he live in Arizona right now?
He does.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Massive man.
Massive.
Yeah. So the next game on. Wait a second. No, Kev, your pick. My bad. Did you already? Okay, my bad. Go ahead. So Michigan, Washington, and this one is interesting to me. This one is interesting to me because I think we talked about this before we went on the air. It's like top 10 Michigan, right? Going on the road to 3-2 Washington, and they're a 2.5-point underdog. Top 10 team against an unranked team who's lost twice. What would one of us be missing here? What do you think that is? We're going to start with Matt, right?
It's mine.
Okay,
yes,
we'll start with Kevin. Sorry, apologies.
No, it's okay. Dude. All right, so there's a little bit of my own bias in here is that Michigan winning would make October 19th a bigger game. But I think this is just a team that knows how to win. They've won the last 2 weeks. It's not been pretty. It's been ugly. Washington comes in with I have no here's what I'm gonna do. I've been battling with this all day. Give me over 41.5. I'm gonna take a half unit, Michigan, Washington, over 41.5. And here's why. Michigan number is still deflated, like I talked about earlier. They've given up 105 points in 5 games. That's not Michigan football the way that we know it. That's over 20. That's 21 points a game. I do think that Washington with Will Howard, right?
Will Rogers.
Will Rogers. I always do. I always confuse those two guys. Will find a way to score. I think Michigan's running game will find a way to score. I don't have a read on this number. Everything in my gut intuition tells me Michigan's going to win this game, but I just can't lay the points. So I'm going to take over 41.5 for a half unit. It's just like Barry said, this is a yucky game.
It is a yucky game.
And it's probably going to be yucky up in Seattle.
Absolutely. And this is Michigan's first true road game of the season. Again, this is not one I'm going to the window with. It's very similar to the Mizzou Texas A&M game. Don't have a great read on it. Everybody says how good, coming in the season, Michigan's defense was. To Kev's point, they're 43rd in the country in total defense. So, we're used to that Michigan team being in the top 15, top 10 defensive wise, and they're sitting at 43 right now. Kev's right. They do know how to win. They're champions. Both of these rosters, as a rematch of the Natty last year, both these rosters have been really totally rehauled. But I'm just going with the fact that, hey, Michigan's got to go on the road. They haven't been super impressive to date at home. They got to go play a road game for the first time with guys that haven't been out there on the road. Washington can be a tough place to play at times. And, Washington's got a little bit of juice in their system from what happened last year in the Natty. And you give me under field goal and points here. Don't love it, but I'm going to take the Huskies -2.5 here and see if they can, Will Rogers he's got 10 TD passes and 0 interceptions now. He's finally caught up to
what all my numbers were,
before last game. But he's been good. He's been a nice balanced attack for him.
He threw for over 300 yards against Rutgers on Friday.
Yeah. And if Washington they don't have to stop the run. They just have to keep it at that about 4 to 5 yards per carry instead of 7 to 8. They will win this game. So I'm going to take the better offense at home and a team that's coming to play their first road game. So give me the Huskies.
Yeah, in the national championship rematch, the Huskies have a loyal fan base. They really do, and that is an amazing place to play. I don't mind that pick. I actually like what Barry said. Yes, Barry, Will Rogers, same quarterback that was at Mississippi State, transferred to same guy we played in the bowl game.
Yes.
I do like the plus money for the Wolverines money line. If I was going to go to the window for anything, I do like that I'm getting a little bit of juice. I make a small play on it. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But I like your call, Matt.
I'm not betting my hard-earned money on this one either. It's just too hard to tell.
The biggest thing too is that Washington's offense has struggled to put it in the end zone, and Rutgers was able to force them to kick field goals.
Yep.
The 3 times Rutgers scored last week, they were able to get in the end zone. Washington was in the red zone actually quite a bit more. They just settled for field goals and then even missed a couple. So if Michigan can hold them to field goals, I think that's where I think Michigan can have an advantage. The next game here, Syracuse at UNLV, and I'll actually like that one a lot because I think this is actually going to be UNLV's toughest game to date, even though the Kansas game in Kansas City was a tough one, but we've kind of seen that Kansas doesn't know how to finish. So
no,
they're just pathetic at this point.
I actually wanted to take them as a loser for my lock this week, but I didn't.
Like Lance Leipold, dude, you don't just forget how to coach. I don't know what the hell's got going on.
He's lost the team.
Yep, he has, and that's really sad because he seems like a really good guy. And I don't know, and the whole Andy Kotelnicki thing, as much as people might say that has nothing to do with his defense not being able to get stops in the fourth quarter. So there's a lot going on there. So UNLV is a 6.5 point favorite here at home. And actually, Syracuse and Kyle McCord, they're dangerous. They can move the ball, and so this is going to be a good one. We'll start, since I know we're starting with Matt this time. We'll go with you. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, this is another game where Syracuse is going to be playing their first on the road, and they got to travel all the way from New York out to Nevada to play UNLV team that really had to rally last week around one another after the quarterback, for lack of better terms, quit on them. Yeah, I know some NIL stuff and all that. I see both sides of it, but it can rally a team, and I think it did. I love UNL's defense. Now, have they played the best competition? No, but they're averaging, giving up about 13.7 points per game, so just under 2 touchdowns a game. I think Syracuse will score more than that on Saturday, but they're ranked 10th in the nation in offense and 15th in the nation in defense. I think this is a very well-rounded team, well-coached so far to date. This is Barry Odom that came from Mizzou. Mm-hmm. He knows how to put a program together. Not saying, everything worked out great for him at Mizzou, but he's still coaching in the SEC. UNLV's off to a great start. I'm picking this because of their defense. I still think points will be scored here. Their UNLV's averaging in the 30s per game. So I'm liking the score to like 34-27. I'm going to take UNLV at home. I think they cover. I think they cover barely, but Syracuse's D, 65th in the country. I think they'll give up in the 30s points wise. And so I'm going to take the home team, continue to rally around one another after losing their quarterback.
This one is such a weird thing for me because you have a lot of times where it's a bounce back game, right? You have the first game after a coach is fired.
Yeah.
Right? I kind of equate that to them just dog walking Fresno State, a pretty good Fresno State team, 59-14 last week. I mean, they beat the dog piss out of them.
59-14.
But at the same time,
team Michigan struggled with.
Exactly.
Yeah, and at the same time, Syracuse has to travel all the way across the country.
First road game.
Friday night, at night. Dude, hey, BYU might have been all jacked up on Dr. Pepper, and Cal folks might have been jacked up on the sativa. Them UNLV kids would be jacked up on bourbon and cocaine. Like, let's be real here.
Some Quaaludes.
Right, that place is going to be
hookers or something.
They're ranked. The total's almost at 60. Give me the running Rebs here. I think they found something with this quarterback Hodge. Is it Hodge Williams or
Malik Williams?
It's HAJJ, isn't it? That's his name. Well,
that's his first name. Yeah. Hodge Malik Williams.
Hodge Malik Williams. Yeah. That kid, dude, was 13 of 16 passing the ball and led the team in rushing. He looked like a phenomenal athlete. The few moments that I saw there, I think that can give Syracuse some problems. Syracuse lost at home to Stanford a couple weeks ago. So they lost the same night Illinois beat Nebraska.
Yeah.
This is not one that I love. I'm a half unit on this one. Give me UNLV minus 6.5. I'm taking the home team on a Friday night and still kind of – I think rallying around your guy quitting on your team might have a little bit longer lasting effect than a coach getting fired.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think
I did a half unit as well.
And remember, we talked about this a little bit last week. Saluka is not really a passing guy. This Hodge Williams,
he's a run.
Yeah, he's a run first guy. This Hodge Williams can run and throw
and pass. Yes.
Yeah. So you're not a school's all-time leader of something if you can't play. So, he's a baller.
And I like this fact. UNLV, I know it's a kind of a fabricated stat, but 13-4 in their last 17 against the spread. They have been covering.
I like it.
Here's one more to top you before we get to the last game. Illinois 5-0 against the spread this year.
This is true.
Keep on doubting them, America. I'm gonna be honest. If you went to the window on Illinois this year, you'd be making some bank, man.
I have been.
Yeah, there we go. Good. All
I
right.
have not, 'cause I don't do that.
This man behaves right here.
No, I don't bet. I don't bet on or against my teams. It's just hard, steadfast.
Yeah, it's very hard not to.
At least you can in Oklahoma, and here in Illinois,
You cannot.
It's crazy. So I'll get like FanDuel up or something. I'm like, let me check the spread on Illinois. I can't find it anywhere. Why is that? So the last game before we get to the locks. This one's tricky.
Okay. So he was Hodge Malik Williams was a Campbell Camel, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
You look at what his numbers he put up there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he can play. Ole Miss.
He's 38 years old. He's 38 years old. Hopefully that doesn't affect him too much. So.
Wow. I didn't realize that. I thought Hugh Robertson was the oldest guy in the.
No, he started college playing in 2019. It's just kind of funny.
So Ole Miss. Come on now. What happened to them last week?
Man.
Yeah. And I know people were like, "Oh, give Kentucky credit. They're tough." And I'm like, "Well, South Carolina went in there and embarrassed them in Lexington." And yes, I know they gave Georgia a game, but Ole Miss coming off of an embarrassing home loss to Kentucky. I think maybe Ole Miss was feeling themselves a little bit too much. I think that's really what happened because they really hadn't been challenged all year. And then, they miss a field goal last few seconds. And now South Carolina, this is in Columbia. So that's a tough environment. Man. You saw the LSU game earlier in the year was back and forth. And you could even say South Carolina maybe should have won the game without some of those wild penalties they were throwing. So 9.5 points is a lot. So, Kev, is that too much?
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
This is another line that's going to sit out there. The average bettor is going to be like, man, I just watched South Carolina take LSU to the wire at home, and transitive property. South Carolina whipped Kentucky, and no, this is a Ole Miss coming in there full of piss and vinegar. Yep. South Carolina cannot throw the football. Like they do not have quarterbacks. They're not Michigan, but they're Michigan light when it comes to throwing the football. I'm still a believer. Ole Miss just got caught in a weird spot here. I think this is a line that the Joe Q Public bettor, it loves South Carolina, and for that reason alone, give me the running Rebs minus the 10. They're pissed off. Lane Kiffin's going to have a rebound week this week. I got the better quarterback. I got the better running back. I got the better defense. I got better everything here. The only thing I don't have is a home field advantage. It will be sold out, but give me Ole Miss minus the 9.5 on the road.
Amen. Couldn't have said it any better. On my notes.
And vinegar and quotation.
Coming off a loss, pissed off. This is, I don't see any other way around it. Ole Miss is going to come out. They're going to play with their hair on fire. South Carolina, formidable team, yes, but I don't give them any chance in this game because of what happened last week with Ole Miss, and they know that their back's against the wall. If they want anything to deal with the 12-team playoff, they have to win this game. So, I get under a touchdown and a field goal. I like that. If it was 10.5, maybe a little different, maybe not. But I'm still riding with Lane Kiffin and the Rebs minus 9.5. I put a half unit on it. Give me the Rebs.
Yeah, I'm taking a full unit on this one.
Shane Beamer is going to be very upset at you guys. So,
Lane Kiffin's my dude. So everybody hates him. I love him.
Tell Mr. Beamer to prove it. Okay.
You better block a punt like your daddy.
Yeah, we'll have him on the show next week if he can prove it.
Yeah, we're still waiting on one of your special guests. Can you get
who do you want?
Colin Klein out of the damn OC office, OC box, and get his ass on here.
I wanted to see if I can get James Augustine to do the guest pick. I just don't know if he'll take it serious. Like he won't probably give me some comments on it, but I'll try this week.
I was gonna say if you could get James Augustine on this freaking show. Man, heaven! Come on.
He might not want to be on camera, but I'll see what I can do. At least get him a guest picker.
I had it. I knew his wife when she was in diapers.
Oh, real? Yeah, Brittany.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for fun. I mean, he seems like a fun dude. I mean, does he follow this stuff? Like, does he follow?
He doesn't, and that's the problem. It's like I want to do. I think he would do it just to, but he wouldn't give any commentary. He wouldn't research because I know him.
Well, dude, I brought my homeboy my Sharp on last week, and he went 1-5. So
I was gonna say he's gonna pick the games based on whose mascot he likes better.
Well, you never know, but
all right. But I mean, just having James on here would be awesome.
I will. Yeah, that's a good point, Jay Bagan. We'll save him for basketball season.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Are we actually going to do it for basketball season? Because we haven't been.
Yeah.
Well, Matt likes to come on during the hoop season for.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's right. Okay. All right. So it's that time of the show, and so we're going. I know. Here's the thing, Matt.
Presented by Norton Antivirus. Your life.
Presented by sipping a margarita on a beach where he can care less. Fade the Matt. It is here. Kev, do you want to go first, or we want Matt's lock to go first?
Matt's here first, isn't it?
All right.
No, it's me. It's me.
So you can rethink it while he's talking, Matt. So
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Kev.
Like, I'm not a huge fan of transitive property. I do happen to occasionally look at it. But what's my favorite bet, boys?
Home dog in
prime time. Home dog in prime time. Home dog in prime time. Give me the Golden Gophers. It's plus 8.5 at the moment. It was plus 8 when I sent it earlier today. I love getting 8 in the hook. Give me Minnesota plus 8.5 at home against the Trojans. They just played the same opponent in back-to-back weeks. What was the final score? Same exact score. I think Minnesota is starting to figure some things out with the passing game. At least it seemed like it late against Michigan. They got 2 really good receivers, 12 and 9. Or dude, they're. I don't think Minnesota's good. I don't think USC's that good. I also wonder, like, eventually one of these days, USC is going to go play somebody and get some freaking weather. I don't think it's going to be this week. But I love getting a home dog in prime time. Minnesota might not be that amped up for a regular Big Ten game coming to town, but they're going to be pretty amped up to get the Trojans, right? That's going to be kind of a fun one. You think about if USC was coming to Champaign this year, what that would mean. I love the Trojan, the Golden Gophers getting 8.5 this week.
I like that.
That's a good call. All right, Matt. This is what everybody's been waiting for because they're getting their notebooks out and literally going to the opposite of what you're saying. So
please do.
Let's do it. Let's ready. Let's go.
I'm going back to the well after I took this over last week with my good old hard-earned money and cashed really easily, and actually got it live, and it was even more than what it opened at, and ended up well into the 70s. But I'm going to take Texas Tech versus Arizona. I'm taking the over 63.5. I know it's a lot of points. Texas Tech is giving up. Texas Tech is giving up 35 points a game, and they're scoring and averaging 42. And this is an Arizona offense that has done well against very poor teams, as in they scored 61 against New Mexico, and against teams with some defenses have scored in the 20s. Well, Texas Tech does not have a defense. It's been a boat race almost every game. They've given up 51. They've given up 37. They've given up 41. They've scored 52. They've scored 66. They've scored 30. They've scored 44. A lot of big scores here. I'm going to take Arizona after their win against a top 10 Utah team at Utah to continue the momentum and go ham on a team with no defense. And Texas Tech can score too. I'm not saying they're scoring in the 40s, but they're going to put up at least 4 touchdowns. So give me the over 63.5. No research done.
No, I love it. As a matter of fact, I'm leaning on I might take Arizona minus the 6.5 as well, because this has got like 52-31 written all over it.
Yes, it does. and that's my exact thinking. It's going to be a late night, kind of a old Pac-12, now the new Big 12 after dark game. I think Fafita throws all over them. I mean, they're not going to be able to stop him.
All right. Well, I'm 3-2 on my, and I'm on an 0-2 on my. Like I have to get out of the hole, man, and I was looking deep in the well here. Like I was looking at the top 25. I was deep, but I've been, I was going back to like where do I feel like I can get it for sure. So I'm thinking about all my CBS College Network games and teams I've seen and who's impressed me. And here's a team that's really impressed me this year. Okay, all 4 wins this year. They've scored more than 38 points. Okay. And they've actually beaten a decent team as well in there. And their opponent has lost all 3 games to all their FBS opponents this year. So I'm going Navy. Okay.
Yes.
They've been great.
Yes.
Navy over Air Force. It's an 8.5-point spread. Navy has not scored less than 38 all year. They put 56 on Memphis. Okay. The same Memphis that went into Florida State and pretty much showed them that they were better. So Air Force just lost to an average Wyoming team, 31-19. I think Navy's going to keep the trend up of scoring more than 38, and I don't believe that the Falcons are going to score 30. So I like Navy in this one, and I've been super impressed with them this year. I think, and Army too. The Army-Navy game is going to be a fun one this year.
Yeah, I just missed out on getting tickets, so unfortunately. So
yeah, I was going to say Army's undefeated too, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're playing really well. That's going to be a fun one this year.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys like to pick. I'm going with Navy. I think
the only thing I caution against is it's something about when the academies play each other because they all play the same similar style of football.
Yeah.
Is that they're more prepared to stop it than somebody else. I bet you that over-under is a little enticing.
But
I'm looking. I'm trying to find it.
The Navy quarterback is exciting as hell.
It's 35.
Is the over-under?
Yes.
Oh, give me the over all day. Ooh.
Yeah.
Navy can.
It opened at 38.5 and it's down to 35. Wow.
Oh my, that's a tremendously low number for a Navy who's been hanging some ports.
But I was going to say, if anybody hasn't seen Navy this year, man, their quarterback's super exciting. Like
same with Army.
Yeah. I'm just and that's it's too bad you couldn't get tickets to that because I know that probably means something to you.
There's a kid at church who committed to go to Army. He's a wide receiver here. He's a really good wide receiver. His quarterback's going to Georgia Tech, and he's going to go play wide receiver at Army. I will go watch that game when he's.
That's
there.
Awesome.
That's cool, dude.
Hey, here's another one to look at for you bettors out there. First off, the easiest bet of the week. Unfortunately, they're on a bye, but I'm going to take bye minus 27.5 against Kent State. Kent State is terrible. They play Ball State next week. Ball State's not any good, but I bet Ball State covers whatever that number is. Just keep an eye out for it. It might be on the next week's Fade the Deuce, but here's one I talked about. I teased it up a little bit. UCLA goes to Penn State.
27.5.
For a 9 a.m. Pacific time kickoff. 28-point spread. Dude, that's early to play football for those guys, man. I think Penn State, I don't know what the first half is, but I'm going to jump all over that come Saturday morning. I'm just telling you right now, I think that Penn State probably dog walks them.
The first half is at 17.
Give me it. That game's 28-0 at halftime. UCLA is terrible.
Yeah.
The over/under is 24. I kind of like that at first half.
And it's not surprising when Deshaun Foster, their coach, doesn't speak over volume 3.
No.
Like, could you imagine being down 20 at half and like your coach coming in like, "Hey guys, I need a little bit more out of you. I need some juice." Like, excuse me, what? Juice. What'd you say? I need to give me everything you guys got. Like, oh, okay, coach, shoot me. And that's what those guys are dealing with. So I'm just saying that's not going to rev anybody up.
No.
Well, they were tied with LSU at halftime, and then they got dump trucked in the second half. So
True. So I think I like that one too. I was looking at that, Kev, and I didn't think about the 9 a.m. Pacific kick for those guys.
Yeah, it's one of those things
yeah.
When you see that happen in the NCAA tournament, it's time when the West Coast team has to go play at an Eastern time zone and do that 11 a.m. tip off for our time, man. It's rough on those guys.
And Barry, I don't know if the Hawaiians play on their high school.
The Hawaiians play at San Diego State at 7 p.m.
Ooh.
And my Texas Tech Arizona game is the last game of the night. So have some fun, put a little money on the over because life is too short to bet the under, obviously.
That's going to be a Wild West shootout in Lubbock, isn't it?
It's at Arizona.
Oh, man. I was hoping it was going to be, the old Michael Crabtree.
Well, if that was at Texas Tech, that over-under would be about 70.5.
Okay. There's just something about Lubbock. It's like –
It is.
Hey, Ryan, we'll give you Navy minus the 7. That's what it opened at. It's 10 now. We'll give it to you at 7.
Wow. So apparently people know. Okay.
10 and with an over-under of 35. That's wild.
So basically they're saying that it's going to be 25 to – wait, no.
Yeah. I mean, well.
Yeah, 25 to 10. No, wait, no, 20 – if it's a 10-point spread with 35.
22-12, something like that, 23-12.
Yeah. Okay. I will come on here. I'm trying to think what the hell I would do now. I can't grow hair, so I can't do that. I was like, if Air Force holds that Nebraska Navy offense to under 22 points, like that's not happening, dude. It ain't happening.
Not happening. Okay, I love it.
Yeah, it's not. And I promise you, I'm going to screenshot, like I do, Matt, at halftime. I'm going to screenshot it and send it to you.
I can't wait for the text.
Yeah. All right. That's going to do it this week. Matt, I feel like this. I feel like this week's the lock's it's happening for you.
I hope.
You hope.
Yeah. I'm due. I am due for one.
His bookie's coming for his kneecap. So
yeah, that's right.
So all right. Anything else, Kev, before we go?
No, I'm good, man.
All right. That'll do it. Tomorrow night, outside the gridiron, we're going to have some fun. Maybe talk a little bit about – no, we're not talking about Dion. Forget that. No Dion, even though they're 4-1. But, yeah, so Illinois is on bye this week, so we can just enjoy other games. So that'll be kind of – I got to be honest, though. I'm kind of bummed because this Illini team's got me excited, you guys.
Me too.
As they should, yeah.
All right, you guys, that'll do it. See you on Sunday. Keep it orange and blue.
ILL.